My name is Mira, and this is the story of the quiet nights that changed my life as a mother. I lived with my daughter, Anya, in a small apartment on the top floor of an old building. It is not perfect, but it is our home. We have warm light in the evenings, simple meals on the table, and laughter that fills the rooms on most days. At least, that is how it used to be. As the years passed, I learned that mothers carry many things: hope, fear, strength, and sometimes even guilt. But the heaviest thing I ever carried was the sound of my daughter crying softly in the dark. It began slowly. At first, I thought it was just a bad dream, a small whimper, a tiny sniffle. Children cry sometimes. It is normal. But one night, I heard something different. A long, soft sob, the kind you make when you are trying very hard not to make any sound at all. I sat up in bed, my heart suddenly awake. "Anya!" I whispered through the wall. There was no answer. From that day on, I started listening more carefully. Every night, just after the lights were off, she cried. Not loudly, not openly, but quietly, like someone hiding pain deep inside their chest. I wanted to go to her room and hold her. I wanted to tell her she was safe. But something stopped me. A feeling that if I pushed too hard, she would close her heart even more. So I waited. I watched. And every night, the sound of her silent tears cut into me like a small, invisible knife. I kept telling myself, tomorrow I will ask her. But tomorrow always came, and I always stayed quiet. I didn't know then that a single moment, a simple discovery, would soon change everything. The crying continued for many nights. Some nights, it lasted only a few minutes. Other nights, it felt endless. I would lie awake, staring at the ceiling, trying to understand why my bright, gentle daughter was crying alone. During the day, she looked almost normal. She smiled sometimes, but her smile didn't reach her eyes. Her shoulders looked tense. She jumped a little whenever something fell or someone raised their voice. At breakfast, she pushed her food around her plate. When she came home from school, she rushed straight to her room. I tried soft questions. "How was school, sweetheart?" "Fine," she said. "Did something happen?" "No." "Do you want to talk about anything?" "Not really." It was like talking to a closed door. One afternoon, when she came home, I noticed something that made my heart beat faster. Her eyes were red again. Her sleeves were pulled down tightly over her wrists. She held her school bag close to her chest, like she didn't want anyone to touch it. I forced a gentle smile. "You look tired, Anya." "I'm okay," she whispered, and walked away. But I wasn't okay. I started paying attention to her school routine. She left earlier than usual and returned later. Once, when she didn't see me watching, she reached into her school bag, pulled out a piece of paper, looked at it for barely 3 seconds, and then quickly put it back. Her face turned pale. My mind raced with possibilities. Was it her grades? Was it a teacher? Was someone hurting her? Was she sick? As a mother, your mind becomes a storm when your child's heart is hurting. That night, her crying was louder. Not full sobs, but deeper, sharper. The kind of sound that comes when a child tries to hold back a pain bigger than herself. I almost opened her door. Almost. But I stopped again. I told myself one last time, tomorrow I will ask again. I didn't know that tomorrow would arrive with the truth sitting quietly inside her school bag. The next day arrived with soft sunlight and heavy fear in my chest. While Anya prepared for school, I watched her carefully. Her eyes stayed on the floor. Her shoulders were small and tight. She moved slowly, like she carried something inside her that was too heavy. When she left for school, she forgot something. Something she never forgot before. Her school bag. She had rushed out so quickly that she didn't even realize it was still sitting beside the dining table. I picked it up to take it to her, but the moment my hand touched it, something inside me stopped. A strange feeling spread through me. Fear, worry, and something even deeper. "This bag holds the truth," a voice in my heart whispered. I hesitated. A mother should respect her child's privacy. I never opened her things without asking. But that morning, the thought of her crying alone again was too painful. With shaking hands, I slowly opened the zipper. On top, I found her notebooks, her pencil case, a water bottle. Nothing unusual. But when I reached the bottom, I felt a small stack of papers, crumpled, folded many times, almost hidden. I pulled them out. The first paper was a drawing. A simple drawing of a girl sitting alone at a desk while other children laughed behind her. The girl's face had tears. My breath caught. The next paper was worse. Angry words written in large, dark letters. "You are useless. You are not wanted. Go away." Each one looked like it was torn from a notebook. Each one stabbed my heart. My fingers shook as I turned to the last paper. When I read it, I felt my knees weaken. And at that moment, I understood why my daughter cried every night. When Anya returned from school, I was sitting at the dining table with the papers in front of me. I tried to look calm, but inside, my heart was shaking. The moment she saw the papers, her face turned white. Her eyes widened. She froze at the doorway like she had been caught doing something terrible. "Mama, please, don't," she whispered. Her voice was so small, so scared that it broke me. I stood up slowly. "Anya," I said softly, "come here." She didn't move. Tears filled her eyes almost immediately, but she tried to blink them away. She hugged her arms around herself, like she wanted to hide inside her own body. "I'm sorry," she said, her voice cracking. "I didn't want you to worry. I didn't want to cause trouble." I reached her and knelt down to her level. "You didn't cause trouble, my love. You are not the reason for any of this." She shook her head desperately. They said I should not tell anyone. They said if I talk, it will get worse. They said I am weak, a crybaby, a problem." She covered her face with her hands. "And I believe them," she whispered. At that moment, something inside me broke, and also something inside me grew stronger. I pulled her into my arms. She collapsed against me, crying harder than I had ever heard before. Not silent tears, not hidden sobs, but deep cries of relief, pain, and fear all mixed together. "I'm here," I whispered again and again. "You are not alone. You are not weak. You are my brave girl, and nothing will happen to you, not while I am here." She cried into my shoulder for a long time. My shirt became wet with her tears, but I didn't move. When she finally lifted her head, her voice was trembling. "Mama, what will we do?" I held her face gently. "We will do what we should have done from the beginning. We will face this together." The next morning, I walked into the school with Anya holding my hand tightly. Her steps were small, but I could feel the courage growing inside her. We met her class teacher first. I showed her the papers. She looked shocked, then troubled. She called the school counselor and the head teacher. Soon, we were all sitting around a table discussing everything. I kept my hand on Anya's back the whole time. She needed to know she wasn't alone. The school took the problem seriously. They talked to the students involved, called their parents, and made clear rules to protect my daughter. They also arranged for regular check-ins with the counselor so Anya could talk about her feelings openly. When we left the school that day, Anya was quiet, but lighter, like a heavy shadow had lifted from her shoulders. That night, for the first time in many weeks, I did not hear silent crying. Instead, I heard something else, a soft sigh, the sound someone makes when they finally feel safe. Over the next days, her eyes became brighter. Her smile returned slowly, not all at once, but piece by piece. She started talking more at dinner. She showed me her drawings again. She even laughed one evening, a real laugh. I watched her carefully, the way mothers do, and I felt a warm peace growing inside my chest. The wounds were not gone. Healing takes time. But she had taken her first step out of the darkness, and she didn't take it alone. Looking back now, I realized something important, something I wish every parent would understand. Children do not always cry loudly. Sometimes their deepest pain hides behind soft smiles and quiet words. Sometimes their tears fall only when the world is dark and silent. Sometimes they carry battles we cannot see. My daughter taught me that silence can be a warning. A small change in behavior can be a cry for help. A school bag can hold more than books. Since that day, I have learned to listen not only to her words, but also to her silence, to watch her eyes, to feel her moods, to speak gently, to ask again, even when she says she is fine. The truth is simple. Children should never fight their pain alone. Now, when I tuck her into bed, she looks at me with trust, not fear. She knows I am listening. She knows I will always be there. And every night, before turning off the light, she whispers, "Mama, I love you." I smile and whisper back, "I love you more, and I always will."